am a geologist originally from Canada,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've enjoyed chatting with Rahul several times, and we talk about various things. But I think and thank you very much for inviting me onto the program, Rahul.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, we talked about my time visiting Ireland and learning about hurling, and I described what hurling was as a game that's played in Europe but not often known about here in America. So
Is that the game where they had the sticks and they keep the ball up in the air and then they club it and they can hit it down the field?
yep, that's
Only the
exactly.
Irish would play a game like that.
It's very brutal.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's very brutal, but it has an intense following,
Oh,
and everybody who's like every little community has their own little team, and it's quite invigorating to understand the community sense that they get when their club is playing tonight and they're watching, and everybody who's playing in the club lives locally in the community.
yeah,
So
that makes it worth something to them, worth
it
something to
does.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, they're more invested in it than right.
John, how long have you been in geology for?
Oh, I've been a geologist for, oh God, now I'm going to date myself for uh, about 40 years.
40 years.
About 40 years, yeah. Yeah, I got my undergraduate in University of Calgary, and I did a master's degree in New York. But I look at rocks for a living, so um, for
So you're the rock man. You're the rock man.
I am. I like to be called the rock man. Yeah. Yeah, so it's quite a good profession for me. It's fairly unique here. It's not unique when you go to Texas or Denver or Alberta or anything like that, but here it's relatively few and far between geologists, right?
Yes. The only geologist that I have, there was a show, there was a guy who was a geologist who was doing he was like tracing the Vikings that came into the United States, and the rune stone or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm talking about? That has some
Yeah.
writing on it.
Yep.
Yeah, the gentleman, I forget the guy's name. Was it Phil?
Rhinestone?
No, not Einstein. No.
No, Rhinestone.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's called a rune stone.
Oh, runestone.
Yeah, it's a stone about this big, we'll say, and on it there's writing. And what this gentleman was doing is he was trying to date the stone by digging the stuff out in the cracks where the writing was done to see how if they were able to date that by doing that. Is that a possibility, John? Am I talking right or am I talking wrong?
Well, I mean, they did discover that the Vikings made it to the northern tip of Newfoundland, um, but they didn't have any rune stones there. So yeah, you're right. You're right. A rune is the symbols that are carved into the rock, and the stone is just any stone that they find that they can make the symbols in, and that whole thing is just called a rune stone.
I think.
But
Oh,
yeah, so other people were trying to find rune stones south of Newfoundland, but their efforts haven't been 100% verified and successful.
yeah,
But people keep looking.
this gentleman I'm talking about, he found those runestone uh in Minnesota. I
Yeah,
believe it was
I've
Minnesota.
heard of that. Those are not super verified.
Yeah,
But yeah, they keep looking for things like that. So
yeah.
yeah.
Because I still
Yep.
think the Irish were here first, but hey, who am I?
Well, the Native Americans were here first.
Oh, well, yeah,
First peoples here. They were here first.
yeah.
But yeah, they have verified Viking settlements in Newfoundland that are dated around 1000 AD.
Yeah,
So
that's incredible. 500 years. It wasn't until 500 years later that Columbus came to. Well, he didn't even make it to the United States. He he wanted the islands close
yeah,
by.
he found the Caribbean, some islands in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay, guys.
When did when did you decided you wanted to go into geology?
Into geology, early on. I grew up in Calgary, and in Calgary is a city in Western Canada, province called Alberta. And from my house, you can see the Canadian Rocky Mountains. So it's kind of like growing up in Denver, and you look out and you see the mountains. Calgary, growing up, you look out, you can see the mountains. So there's a lot of people that become interested in geology.
Do you, when you were living in Canada, did you go to Niagara Falls so many times?
Oh yeah, I've been to Niagara Falls several times. I used to live when I moved to New York for graduate school, ended up living in Syracuse, New York, and we'd often make the trip over to Niagara Falls to see the falls. So that's a really nice um,
Now, as Niagara Falls, does that have the same problem that the glaciers have? Has the land? I don't know how to, has the water eroded the land back?
yeah. Yeah, so Niagara Falls, the way it formed, the water would originally flowed into Lake Ontario, and then it would start cutting back and becoming falls. And then it made a 90-degree turn, and that's kind of where it is right now. It's made that 90-degree turn, and that's where the Horseshoe Falls are.
Okay.
So when you go to Niagara Falls, the water comes one way, and then it diverts 90 degrees and goes up into Lake Ontario. So, but it is eroding, and yeah, I mean the Lake Ontario and all those things are features of glaciation
Right.
way back in Earth's history. So, but they are eroding back, and the rock is so broken up right now that it'll eventually just become a rapids as opposed to falls. So it's
Wow.
a good time to be around. So I know, Rahul, you went to Niagara Falls, right?
Yeah, in 2021 with my wife.
Yeah, I saw pictures. That was very nice.
Yeah,
I'd like to go.
it was good. I like Niagara Falls.
Yeah, it's a great place.
That
John,
go ahead. Go ahead, William.
where are you from?
I'm from a place called Calgary, Alberta. It's a city in Canada. Now I live in North Wales, Pennsylvania.
What do you do for a job?
I'm a geologist. So I work for a company called Jacobs Engineering, and I work on contaminated groundwater and soil, figuring out where contamination is, where bad water is, trying to clean up bad water, things like that.
Are you having any problems being able to do that on the land with our current how can I put this? With our current president in office, with him wanting to not caring about the lands and stuff that had been preserved.
The state of the environmental stuff that's going on is the machinery is just there's just so many and so much going on that it's hard for any one person to stop anything. So there's little tweaks here and there that the political environments can affect, but not in a major way.
No, that's good. That's good. I was afraid that they would end up cracking, looking for the propane gas.
Fracking the Marcellus Shale in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I was afraid they were going to do that and destroy all of the land around it, because once they hit oil, or would be the same way with the natural gas, when they hit that, would that have a problem? Would that cause problems in the environment?
It can, yeah. I mean, that's certainly a concern when you're fracking and stuff like that. The main problem with fracking, what you're trying to do, the gas is trapped in this really in shale, which is a very impermeable type of rock, and it's trapped in there. So they go in and they try to frack it to make little fractures in the rock so that the gas can all come into the fractures, and then they can pull it up and be good. the problem with fracking is you don't know exactly, you can't control it super well, that you suddenly create fractures that go into the drinking water system.
Right.
And that's the main problem. And then if they bring it to the surface, there's a lot of chemicals that they use in the frack water that may cause problems. So it's just you gotta make sure that they're watching what they're doing, kind of thing. And there's oversight and regulations and things like that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. You know, I was afraid they were going to destroy all the lands in the United States.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Good.
Go ahead, Basil. You got a question, pal?
Yeah. How's it like living in North Wales after living in Canada for some time? I'm sure it's quite different.
Yeah.
Well, I still feel Canadian. But yeah, there is a bit of a culture shock when you live in Canada and you come down here. The healthcare system is a lot different. There's a lot different kinds of regulations and things like that you have to get used to. But I like North Wales. I like Lansdale area. It's a nice little suburb. I can get to Philadelphia to do major sporting events like the Phillies and watch the Flyers and see the Eagles and things like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's close to major things, but it's not in the big city, right?
Yeah. I think it's really nice up there too.
Yeah, it's nice. I like having farmland, fairly close.
Yeah. I went to Kutztown for college, and I went to Montco as well. So I think it was nice to get out of Philly for a few years for college, and now I'm back in Philly. But I do like being about an hour or so away from Philly as well.
Yeah. So that's nice. So cool.
How about you, Raul? You have a question, don't you?
Yeah. So John, what bacon do you like better, Canadian bacon or American
Oh,
bacon?
jeez.
So in Canada, we don't call it Canadian bacon.
Yeah.
It's
In,
bacon,
Can-
right?
in Canada, it's
What
back
what
bacon.
what kind of bacon do you guys call it in Connecticut?
In Canada.
In Canada, it's back bacon,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's just the less fatty part of the pig, and so it looks like mini hams, I would call it.
Can you show us a picture?
Oh, come on.
No. I don't have a picture
Imagine
with
what
me,
the man's telling you. Wait.
but it looks like ham, like a small diameter ham.
Oh,
But if you get Canadian bacon, if you ask for Canadian bacon here, we call that back bacon.
oh,
Right. The
wow.
difference between with Canadian bacon you can get is more round, correct?
Yes.
The bacon you get in the United States are the strips.
Yeah. In England, they call that streaky bacon, which makes sense because it has little streaks in it, right?
Right. Yes.
Because
John,
I
what's
know
your favorite sports to watch on TV?
Well, growing up in Canada, most of us watch and play hockey. So that is the biggest. But there's two official sports in Canada. One, the summer official sport is lacrosse,
Right.
right? So you have, and that's kind of like playing hockey with running around in sticks. And then ice hockey is the winter sport. So, and when I was growing up, I was in high school when the Atlanta Flames moved to Calgary and became the Calgary Flames. And actually, I moved to the States before they won the Stanley Cup. They won the Stanley Cup in 1988, I believe.
Yeah.
So they were quite good and competitive for a while. Not so much as of late, but there's still the it's good to watch hockey.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. That was when you were a senior in high school?
Yeah, I was a junior. We don't call it juniors or seniors, but yeah, I was 11th grade when they moved in, and they originally played at a place called the the Corral, which is a really small stadium that's mostly used mostly used for horse competitions, and they used it as the ice hockey rink. So yeah, it was quite fun.
Well, the Stanley Cup is on now with the Hurricanes and
And the Knights, yeah, Las
Knights.
Vegas Knights.
There, there's a there's a there's a viewer asking a question on the YouTube chat box. He
Okay.
says, "Can you ask?" This is for John. Can you ask for American bacon in Canada?
You can ask for a
It
Canadian
would only
bacon.
be right, right?
You can ask for American bacon in Canada. No, if you go to if you
Give me
go
that
to
fatty
Canada,
stuff.
you go to Canada and you just go to a restaurant and you ask for bacon and eggs, they're going to give you the streaky bacon and eggs. If you ask for back bacon, they'll give you the Canadian bacon, what you guys call Canadian bacon.
Yeah.
So
So, John, I know you traveled the world a lot. I see some I see a lot on your Facebook and Instagram. So, can you tell us some of the countries you visited?
yeah, it's actually relatively recent that I started going traveling internationally, but the first place we went to was Ireland, as I mentioned before. The next place we went to is Italy, and we quite enjoyed that. Actually, my daughter's in Rome right now, but I had a lot of fun in Italy. Went to Rome and Venice and Florence and Naples and stuff like that. And then we went to England last year, mostly around London, and then in March or April. Oh, I think it was April. April, we went to the Netherlands, Belgium, and France.
How'd you like that? That cluster of that cluster of countries.
It was really good. I liked it. We flew into Amsterdam, and the plan was to, be around Amsterdam for a few days, and then we took a train to Paris. We actually went to Disneyland in Paris. And then hung around Paris for a while. And then we went to Belgium and went to Bruges and Ghent and Brussels.
It's a nice trip, really nice trip.
It was. And I was telling Rahul that they have this really interesting sport in the Netherlands, sort of the northern Netherlands. The Netherlands, very flat country, and it has a lot of they had a lot of problems with inundation of the seawater and things like that. So what they did is they built a bunch of canals to try to keep the water out, and they'd have windmills, and the windmills would pump the water out of the canals and back into the ocean, kind of thing. So there's a lot of flat land with canals separating arable, farmable land. So one of the sports that they came up with is this Farliepen, which is where they have long poles that are stuck in the middle of the canal, and the sport is where you run up to the edge of the water. You run up and you jump over the canal, grab onto this pole, and shimmy up to the top of the pole as the pole is falling down on the other side, and then you jump on the other side. So it's canal leaping.
Right.
We didn't get to see it because it goes from May to September, I think it is, but it's quite a popular sport in northern part of the Netherlands, and they have, again, the community gets together and these are our guys, this is our team, kind of thing.
Yeah. You can make sports out of anything, wherever you're at. Yeah, with the land that you're on, you can come up with sports, play all kinds of games. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I mean, playing games is part of the human experience, I think.
Right.
And I think that's why some of the games that we follow, I know Rahul likes playing football and stuff like that. Right around Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah,
Rahul?
yeah.
Yeah. So you have so it's a community thing. You get around and it's just fun to play sports.
Yeah.
John, have you ever been to Raul's family's house for the Thanksgiving football game every year?
No, I haven't been to. He invited me. He invited me when for his, I think it was his daughter's naming ceremony. So that was quite interesting for me because I like learning about different people and different cultures and things like that. So Raul graciously invited me and my wife to come watch a baby naming ceremony, which I've never heard of before, but I thought it was quite interesting and it was very a very nice thing to do.
Wow. Wow.
Well, Raul's a pretty nice guy, so I can see him asking you to his baby. He didn't ask me.
Oh,
He
well,
forgot, he forgot all about me, but I'm glad
No,
you got to go.
that was
Same
in
with me
20
and Basil too.
that was in 2023.
Oh, never mind.
yeah.
I take it back.
John, and the other countries you visited, like Belgium and Ireland and all, what are some of the famous sports in those countries?
Well, I didn't learn of any famous sports in Belgium or France. I mean, France has the Tour de France, which is a bicycle race and stuff like that, but it's not unique to France. Same thing with Belgium. There wasn't anything that I learned in there. England has they're really excited about football.
Soccer, right?
Yeah, we call it soccer, but they call it football.
Yeah. Did you ever get? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
As opposed to American football, as opposed to Canadian football,
There you
right?
go. Canadian bacon, American football, somewhere along there. Did you get a chance to gaze on some Gaelic football? Now that's
No,
insane
no,
stuff, man.
no. I've heard it and I've seen it on some YouTube channels. That looks quite intense.
It is quite intense. It's not quite as intense as, say, Australian football, but the Gaelic football. Um, I watched that. They used to play that behind the high school I went to every Sunday. These teams, all of a sudden they found all these guys with Irish accents, and or the brogue, and they were out there playing Gaelic football, and that was intense. It was really
Wow.
intense, up and down the field.
Amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead, William. Did you want to ask a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So John,
Yeah.
how long have you been a Canadian football fan?
Well, the Canadian football, all my life, except it's hard to follow it now,
It's
right?
not Canadian football like it used to be.
Yeah, and they've changed the rules a bit from when I was growing up. I mean, I grew up in Calgary, so there was always the Calgary Stampeders,
Right.
which is the Canadian football, league team that we've had. And they played around with they actually expanded at some point for a couple of years, and there was a team in Baltimore, I believe,
Wow.
for a couple of years, and then they tweaked the rules with allowing the wide receivers, like two receivers, to start running toward the line of scrimmage before the ball's hiked, so they get a head start. Canadian football has only 3 downs to get 10 yards as opposed to 4. They have to have a yard separation between the line of scrimmage and the defensive line, so there's nobody lining up right against each other. So there's a yard separation.
And there's 12 players on the side.
There's 12 players on the side, but the field is bigger. The field is a little bit wider, and it's 110 yards from end zone to end zone.
And it's 75 yards wide.
Yeah.
So big field.
Yeah, and the end zone is 15. Is it 15 or 20 yards deep, not the 10 yards.
Yeah.
So a lot more room. You need one more player helps out. A lot more passing.
Right.
A lot more passing.
I remember when I first started watching Canadian football, when they would put it on, they only allowed like X amount of Americans on a team.
Correct.
And now there's no rule concerning that.
I'm not sure if they changed that rule or not, because Canadians always have like a Canadian content rules. Like if you watch TV in Canada, there's Canadian content rules. You have to have so many shows that have to be produced in Canada. So we don't get all just American TV. We have our own Canadian shows that have to be part of that. And that goes for sports as well. So there's not a restriction on hockey that I know of, but there used to be one on football. I'm unaware if they changed that rule or not.
Yeah.
When you were in England, I know some people in England are cricket fans over there.
Yes.
Have you been to the cricket stadium in England?
Not in England, but they used to play cricket in Calgary. Now, Calgary is has a very diverse, eclectic mix of different cultures. And the one thing I like about Canada is they have they accept a wide diversity of cultures, and they let you retain your culture. So in Calgary, there was an area downtown, a large park, Stanley Park, where a lot of the people from India and Pakistan would come, and they love cricket. So they would play cricket on Sundays. So I remember being down in Stanley Park and watching them play cricket. I thought the game was fascinating. It takes a long time to play a game if you're good at it, and not so long to play if you're bad at it. But yeah, I didn't see a cricket stadium in England. I saw the O2 Stadium, the Oxygen Stadium, or something like that. But I didn't see cricket one there.
When you were in England, did you visit the Buckingham Palace, and are the guards really standing still, and do people mess around with the guards, and do they not move at all if you mess around with him?
Yeah, so we did go to Buckingham Palace. We went a whole bunch of places: Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, Tower of London. But yeah, at Buckingham Palace, they have the guards there. It's really poor taste to mess around with them. So people do it a little bit. They're not, but it's really frowned upon. They will not. You'll be properly escorted away if you're messing with them.
Yeah, that's really frowned on because that's part of their whole culture. They've been doing that for centuries.
Yeah. So you can tell the poor American tourists that are over there, and they're trying to mess with them, and it's like, don't do that. Just don't do it.
Because I saw a TV show, Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, yeah.
And he goes to the Buckingham Palace, Mr. Bean, and he tickled the guard that's standing still in Buckingham Palace.
Yep. Yeah. That's for comedic effect, but yeah.
I had to check out Mr. Bean one of these days. I heard he's a great icon.
He is. He's a cultural. They had him in when they had the Olympics in London. The person, Rowan Atkinson, who plays Mr. Bean, was there, and they had a big huge skit with Rowan Atkinson being Mr. Bean on that during the Olympics. So definitely a cultural icon.
Imagine if we had Mr. Bean on the show.
It would be interesting. Yes. Yeah. If you've not seen Mr. Bean, it's there's a lot of English shows that I think that we used to get quite a bit in Canada, but you get them very rarely here. But it's quite fun.
I get I have the WPBS, the Passport, because I love British shows. I think, I think, from Downton Abbey all the way through to just the regular shows, the cop shows, but their version of their detective shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. I have BritBox, so I watch British shows all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought was interesting in England, though, we'd get it in Canada because we got the PBS equivalent in Canada is CBC, and we would get the darts finals. in England. And you'd have people, you'd watch an entire show of people playing darts in national competitions. It's the only competition I saw where the participants were like drinking a beer and then throwing a couple darts and then drinking another beer. And the other game that they televise is snooker, which is kind of like pool but played on a bigger table, and it has not numbered balls, but they're color. There's all red balls, and then there's a bunch of colored balls, and you have to get the red one in before you get the colored one in, and you rack up points that way. So snooker was quite interesting to learn how to play. We played it in Canada. Darts, of course, but it's a big thing over there.
Yeah. Yes.
Basil, you have any questions?
He's watching the Phillies blow this game.
Are they really? Sorry,
Yeah, they just walked a run in, and then the guy hit a ball away to the fence. The bases were loaded, so a guy came, tug up and came home. So now it's 7-3.
My goodness.
And
Yeah, I'm pretty much
I'm
watching.
getting ready to throw up, but that's it. Go ahead. They make me crazy.
Yeah, they make me crazy too. Last night, Joan Duran blew his first save of the season.
Yeah. Oh man, that was insane. I was rather upset about that, But anyhow, we're interviewing John. We're not.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. I'll start talking about baseball, and then we'll go completely off over here.
John, can you give a message to Mrs. Mason from all of us for her Giants for giving us Saquon Barkley?
My daughter and my wife are both huge Giant fans, and they were not happy when he got traded to the Eagles. But my son James, huge Eagles fan, so he was quite happy.
The Giants
we're Eagles. Me and Raul are Eagles fans, but with Charlie, he's a 49ers fan.
Yeah, but the Giants though, they had that kid Akabu who had dislocated his ankle. He's the kid that ran all over Alabama in the bowl game. He's a hell of a run. He's a hell of a running back. That kid.
I saw the fracture of the leg, and oh man, that looked brutal.
Mason, Charlie is a traitor. He's on the 49ers side.
I like the 49ers. I'm a Christian McCaffrey fan, is what
I like. I like the 49ers too, only because when I was growing up in Canada, in Calgary, when I was watching football, we get very few American football games, very few. It was only during the playoffs. And when I was growing up, the 49ers was Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and all those guys. And it was a dynasty. So you got to see the dynasty. So I was a 49ers fan for a while.
Oh, okay.
And they just knocked in another run.
What fan of football are you these days, John?
I like the Eagles. I'm not a huge football fan. I like, more of the hockey, and I'm a little bit more eclectic and stuff like that in some of my things that I watch. But I like watching the Eagles.
What about baseball and basketball?
Baseball, I like the Phillies. I think they're good. They might not be doing too good tonight, apparently.
They're blowing it. They're blowing the game. It's making me nuts. I don't know whether
they're winning. They're loading. Last I checked, they were winning.
Yeah,
they're still winning, but it's 7-4 now instead of 7-0.
Holy crap!
Yeah, they loaded the bases. Then he left the guy in, and he let him walk a run home, and then. I don't know. I don't understand it.
I can't stand baseball anymore, to be honest. It seems like every single game. I love baseball, but
I just hate walks. These guys.
It makes me angry to watch the Phillies. It really does. And then when I don't watch, they do great.
So I have a question for you guys. So with the baseball thing, one of the things that I think is kind of cool is the challenge for the strike zone.
Yes.
Are the umpires behind the plate going to be replaced by the strikes and balls being called by a computer now?
I don't think so, because you only get one challenge a game. A
Oh,
game.
I know now you do, but what about in the future? Should the game
Oh,
evolve into something where strikes and balls are evaluated by a computer?
I'm sure they could do that, and I'm sure they could manage. Like, I'm sure it would be fine.
Yeah,
Um,
they
but I
should.
think it's part of the game to have that run out of challenges and actually be run up on strikes because it's close enough. I think that's a very important part of the game for it to be close enough and in the position for it to be strike three still.
They should let the computer do it instead of umpires, because sometimes umpires make bad calls.
Yeah,
But
but the
Raul,
thing
think
is,
about it this way: we'd be watching the review thing 20 times a game.
Well, it's not the review thing. It would be the automatic, it would be
the
automatic.
ABS.
Oh, that's a strike, that's a ball kind of thing.
Yeah. And they have, I mean, they get 2 challenges a game, where they can tap on the old helmet and say, well, either the catcher or the pitcher says that's not a ball, that's a strike. And then they look at it. Or the batter can say, that wasn't a strike, it was a ball. And then they look at it. And as long as I'm looking at it this way, as long as they have that box in there and a player can challenge a call by an umpire, it keeps everything a little bit more tighter, where
They
they
can't do
have
that because then then they'd have to rely on an umpire up in the booth to do the score clock to let everyone know what the balls and strikes is.
they have now they have the timer for the pitchers, and they have the ABS box. You see that on television,
Yeah.
so that sometimes umpires had this thing where some umpires would stretch the strike zone one way, sideways, or up and down.
I like that. I don't think that'll ever change. I think umpires will always be
But
where
the
they
thing
are.
is, some of them, they allowed for low strikes, which were balls, and some of them allowed for strikes that were outside, but they were balls, but they would call them strikes. They made up their own strike zone, basically, is what used to happen, and that's what brought on this ABS. Because there were
And William, it might, or Charlie, it might not be consistent between teams or between batters and things like that. How the umpire lengthens or widens or
right,
changes the
exactly.
strike zone. So it's
There've
like,
been, but historically, there've been short players that have been just fine.
well, that's fine, but the ABS box
Yeah.
adjusts for that, right?
Right. The
Yeah.
the way they used to say it, it was from the chest to the knees. That was the strike zone. So you see the box is a little bit longer than it is wide. That allows for the batter from his chest to his knees, and from the black to the black on the plate, and that keeps the idea is to keep everybody honest. Where as long as somebody can challenge the call, then the umpires have to be on their toes to make sure they work the strike zone the proper way, and whether the player is 5'10" or 6'4", for 5'10", that's still knees to the chest, and like with the Phillies with Bone, he's 6'4". It's
Yeah.
still from his chest to his knees, So basically, the strike zone goes with the body of the player, of the way, the idea of the chest to the knees.
I still think umpires are doing more than they've ever done.
Be interesting to see when they challenge the calls, whether how often they're right versus how the umpire's right versus how many times they're overturned. And I think they'll do some analytics to figure that out. And in the future, you might get more challenges. You might get, a challenge or two per inning or whatever. I was reminded of football, right? So all football touchdowns are now reviewed. Did the ball pass the goal line? And they do that all with computer chips that are in the football, right? They have sensors. So that is evolved now into like every touchdown's review.
When start 1992, he says he likes how they had to take detailed measurements for ABS to make each player
For all the players, yeah.
Each player strike Jones, and like 20 people were listed 3 inches taller than they actually were.
Yeah.
John, a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Uh, uh, some of the countries you visited, like 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 Belgium and your recent trip to, was it Netherlands?
The Netherlands and France. Yep.
What
Yep.
uh, what are some of the famous food, historic food over there?
Oh,
Is it Belgium waffles?
there is Belgian waffles. We definitely had Belgian waffles. That was interesting. That was relatively good.
Is
The
it
thing
better than American waffles?
well, the American waffles are Belgian waffles. I mean, they originated in Belgium, so you can't. But the fries, the fries over there, the Belgian fries, much better than the French fries. They're twice fried, so they take relatively thicker slices of fries. They fry them they fry them twice. So they fry them not so that they're cooked, but and then they let them rest for a bit. They salt them some more, and then they fry them a second time. Um, and those are delicious. They're very crispy on the outside, very tender on the inside, and very tasty. One of the things that is very popular is dipping them in mayonnaise. Um,
I
and the
heard that.
mayonnaise that they use isn't quite the same as American mayonnaise. It's that white stuff. It's more of a yellowish tinge to it. And I think it's kind of like homemade. But one of the things that we had, one of the first things we ate over there, me and my wife, we had some deep fried food, and it was called a bitterballen, and it was a round. It was a little bigger than a golf ball size, and it was fried, so crispy on the outside, fried kind of, and then when you bite into it, it's very very soft and chewy on the inside. And what it is they take a meat stew and they congeal the meat stew, and then they roll that into a ball and they coat it and then deep fry it. So it's actually meat stew this inside this golf ball size thing of coated deep fried crumbs. So that was quite interesting.
And how about the Netherlands? What's their famous?
That was in the Netherlands. That was the bitterballen thing. And the fries were in Belgium. Belgium fries. You don't ask for French fries, you ask for Belgium fries. And then France, there's a lot of really good stuff in France with crepes and stuff like that. They were really good.
What did you think of the Belgian chocolate? Did you try any of that? And
Yeah, we had some of the Belgian chocolate. We actually bought some and brought it home. And my wife likes chocolate. She was less than ecstatic about it. I mean, it's chocolate, but it wasn't anything special, at least in her mind. They did have these weird jelly things, and I bought some. Again, they were hard. They were in shape of a small cone, and inside it was a hard outside shell, and you bit into it, and it's soft and jelly-like in the inside. And that was very good. One of the things that they have in actually have some here. This is some let's see, this is salted licorice, and salted licorice is a very popular thing that they have in the Netherlands, and I'm a huge fan of salted licorice. So it's black licorice. It's salted. It's called salmiak, but it's not salt per se. It's ammonium chloride. So salt is usually sodium chloride.
right.
This is ammonium chloride. It still gives you that very salty licorice flavor. But it's an acquired taste. Every time I get some salted licorice, I try to share it with friends and family, and they know not to to take any.
How, how long did it take by flight to Netherlands?
It was about a 6 or 7 hour flight. Actually, I think, yeah, we flew direct. So it's kind of interesting when you fly, the flight takes the shortest path, when the shortest path takes you over like Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, just south of Iceland and over England. And then so it's kind of interesting that you're still seeing some landmarks.
Was it nice and hot in Netherlands?
Excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
It
So,
was
so,
it wasn't too
so,
bad.
so do I.
Okay. So Rahul, the it was interesting. I didn't find it cold, but when we went to France, went to Paris, everybody was wearing like winter jackets in April. And I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. So
Okay.
how long a flight is it to India? Because I know
Uh,
you've been back a few times, right?
Yeah, to India is like 16 hours nonstop.
Oh, oh, I thought 7 hours was bad. I don't think I could do 16 hours nonstop.
Yeah.
That's quite extreme.
Basil flew by plane a couple of times. Basil, what was the longest hour you flew?
Um, probably to London.
Oh,
London?
okay. Yeah, it's about 6 hours there too, right? 6, 7 hours.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was the longest flight I've ever taken. And I went to London with my family. Then they treated us to a Phillies game out there a few years ago.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
you went to the Phillies versus the Mets in London?
Yeah, I think wasn't that in 2025 actually? So no, that wasn't too long ago. That was last year.
Yeah, I do remember. Was there a lot of English people attending that game?
Yeah, but a lot of Phillies fans at the same time. But it was
Phillies fans
cool.
travel everywhere.
Basil, are you gonna go to um, the Eagle game in England?
No, no chance. I would, but
Because
I'd rather watch it at home.
they're playing in England this year.
I don't. I'd rather watch it at home. I'd go back out to England, but not just for a sporting event.
Charlie, what was the longest flight you ever taken?
The longest flight I ever took was out to Seattle when my son was staying there.
Yeah.
And the other one was we went on a cruise, but we had to fly down to Florida. I guess it would be Fort Lauderdale or wherever the airport was. We flew down there, and then we got on the cruise down there. So it was either to Seattle or down to the bottom of Florida.
Miss John, William, he flew the longest flight he ever taken was to Ghana.
Yeah, that's the long 3 years ago where I got married to my wife, Patience.
Oh, cool. How
Yeah,
long a flight was that?
it was a 9 to 10 hour flight.
A 9 to 10 hour flight? Yeah.
Yeah, right now she's trying to get her to America. She's still at home in Ghana right now.
Okay. One of the things that's popular now, at least with my kids and stuff like that, is an application game called Wordle. I think it's Wordle that they do.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
But
heard that.
they learn all the country. They have to learn all the countries in Africa and South America and all the Pacific Islands. So I think it's a really interesting game. So you can learn how big Africa is and how many countries there are in South America and how many little tiny islands there are in the South Pacific.
Both my father and my wife and their families are from Ghana, West Africa.
Right, right. So now they're learning, like, where the Senegal is, where Ivory Coast is, where a lot of the African countries are. There's not a lot of geography, I think, taught in the US,
Yeah.
more than the US geography. I mean, you're in Canada, we're kind of taught more of global geography, in the US, when I watch my kids go to school and stuff like that, they get very little world geography understanding and knowledge and stuff like that, especially with the African countries, because knowing how big Africa is and all the countries there and where they are and stuff like that.
That is one of the countries that I did learn in school. You're completely right, but they did actually teach us Africa.
When I was in grade school, we had a whole class on geography, and that would be from like say, starting like in the early grades, just like giving you showing things on the map and all and on the globe, where different countries are and where the United States sits. But then as we got up towards the upper grades, like fifth to eighth, that's when we started learning. We learned United States geography, and then we did Africa. I can remember learning about South Africa and all that stuff, France.
Wow.
But yeah, they have really shaved the education in the United States, because all they want to do is have these kids pass these tests.
Yeah,
Doing
teach to the
absolutely
test.
nothing.
Yeah, teach to the test. Yeah, I know.
They
John,
didn't teach us about Canada and Mexico.
What's that?
They didn't
Guys,
teach us
guess
about.
what? I have news. I'm sure you guys heard already. Everyone on us over the weekend, my basketball team and I won the bronze medal in third place.
Yeah,
Look,
Congratulations, William.
Good job, William.
Yes,
thank you.
excellent, excellent. How many points did you have?
Only 1 point, only in the whole tournament. It was
hey,
a
at least
3 point
you didn't have
shot.
0, right?
Yeah, 1 point. Yeah.
Good,
A lot of
good.
rebounds.
Yeah.
Good.
A couple,
That's good.
few.
Rebounds are just as important as points, if not more.
Right.
I
John,
try to make
Defense going.
2 3 point shots in the last game on Saturday, but I missed that. Shit.
It's
But we
all
did
good.
but thanks to Jordan, our player, he made the most shots and Skylar made a couple of point shot. That last game was more awesome. I called Jordan, our teammate Jordan, the MVP after that. He says he made the more shots.
Well, that's
John,
a
uh,
great medal there, William. I like that.
John, couple more questions, like 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
Wh- what is your next trip you're going to? Any more trips you're planning to go to on your bucket list?
On my bucket list. The next one I'm thinking about doing is a walking tour in southern England to look at fossils and stuff like that along a place they call the Jurassic Coast. And this is where some of the Pleistocene or plesiosaurs were first discovered by this lady named Mary. Her last name's escaping me, but yeah, the that's what I'm looking at doing. It's a walking tour, so you'd walk from one town to the next, to the next, to the next, and your luggage follows you. So you're just walking along the coast looking for fossils. So
Wow.
that's the one, and the other one is probably northern Italy and into Switzerland to look at the rocks there.
Do you plan on visiting India anytime soon?
India is a little further down on my bucket list, but yeah, I mean the world, being a geologist and understanding how the world is made and where there's different geologic things, there's a lot of stuff to see. So I got to get comfortable going to countries that don't speak English. India is probably further down the list of, because they might not understand English like a lot of the population.
Have you been to Africa yet?
No, I would like to get to see Egypt. Egypt is good. I mean, I was really interested in the Sahara. I'm a little worried about the political climates over there, and safety wise and stuff like that. But I really would like to go explore some of the Sahara Desert and Morocco. There's some really nice trilobite fossils and stuff like that, and I think there's ammonite fossils you can get over there.
But
Is Egypt in the west or south or east or north?
It's
Egypt in the
it's
north.
in the north.
It's in the north, the tip.
It's in the north. It's borders the Mediterranean Sea, and that's where they have like the Egyptian mummies and the pyramids and things like that.
Yeah,
There was a lot.
that's also, is that also on your bucket list?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's on the bucket list.
I would love to go to Egypt. The people in Egypt. They had a lot of crossover with the Greeks because the Greeks came to Egypt, I believe,
Yeah.
early on, and they married into the people that lived there. So the Egyptians seemed, well, from my point of view, the Egyptians seem to be different than the other Africans that are there, like say in the middle of Africa. I mean, I'm just.
I know the Greeks after Alexander the Great conquered Egypt. Some of the ruling class were integrated with the some of the Greeks, like Ptolemy,
Right.
and Cleopatra was born in Greece.
Mhm.
Things like that. So the famous Egyptian queen. But I'm not sure the local the other populations really intermixed much.
Right.
Not sure of that, but anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of places like in the United States. One of the bucket list things we're doing in the United States is trying to go to all the national parks because there's so much to see, national park wise in Canada and the United States. It's a big place. Africa's much bigger than the US.
It's
So
huge.
there's a lot of geology stuff to look at, but I have to pick and choose where I want to go and stuff like that. So there's just tons of stuff to see as a geologist. My wife doesn't always want to do the geology things, but she acquiesces nicely when we go to places.
I like those walking tours, and your
Yes.
baggage follows you.
Yeah, there's a service that will they'll plan, this you take your backpack and you walk from this town to the next town. It's like 10 miles or something like that. And then during your walk, they're driving your luggage to the next town and setting you up in a bed and breakfast.
Wow.
And then the next day you walk again, and then so you're not carrying your luggage all the time. You're not tenting. You're just walking from bed and breakfast to a bed and breakfast all along the coast.
Doing what you like to do best, right? Looking for
Yeah.
fossils. Yeah.
Yeah.
John, when you go and see the fossils and all, you should come back and talk about what kind of fossil you saw.
Well, if you want to get bored,
No,
John, you
I'll
should
talk about
visit.
geology all day. if you
John,
want.
you should visit my family's country, my dad's and my wife's country, Ghana.
no,
Ghana would be fun, yeah.
no, we would love to learn about fossils and all. So
Yeah.
that would be a good show, learning about fossils, right, Charlie?
Yeah, because Raul thinks I'm a fossil, so you have to show him exactly what a fossil looks like.
Pretty sure he thinks I'm a fossil too. So
I haven't been dead for 1,000,000 years yet, so in fact, I'm not dead yet. So that's yeah, I'm not a fossil.
We would like to see some fossils on the show if you bring some from.
I will keep that in mind there, Rahul.
And I'm gonna connect you with one of my friend. He's into geology also. His name is Aaron Edwards, and he's a good friend of mine.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's a friend of mine too.
Yeah, that'd be great. Geologists love talking about rocks to each other. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mr. John Mason, before we wrap things up, before William wrap things up, do you have any motivational quotes for the viewers?
I'm not much good on motivational quotes, but no, I think just go as you go through life, you try to make the world a better place than when you found it, right? Try to be helpful, try to be nice, those kind of things.
Yeah, I always do that. That I live in that motto, and whenever I see John Mason, Mr. Mason, and Mrs. Mason at the supermarket, I always like helping them, talking to them, and
Yeah, yeah. We look for you too sometimes, Rahul. So
Raul's just a friendly guy. I mean, he
He
can't help
is.
it. He's a
is.
smiling guy.
he's always friendly. Yep.
yeah. William, do you want to wrap things up?
Sure
Thank you,
thing.
John. Thanks for coming on the show, John.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Rockin' and Rahul and the Free Amigos. Please subscribe to our channel and be sure to follow us on Instagram. Thank you and have a good night. See you all next week. Thank you, John, for coming on tonight. We
Yep.
love
Thank you,
having
John.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All the best.
Good night, everyone. See you all
Good
next
night,
week.
everybody.
Good night.
And
What
go
did you think of the
Spurs.
show, Raul? What did you think of the show?
It was good.
Wait, Raul, do you think I should cash out my bet? I bet on Wembanyama to get 20 points and he's at 16, but they're winning by like